Module 3, Detecting the Presence of Hazardous Materials. We often look at 6 clues to help us detect the presence of hazardous materials: occupancy and location, the container's shapes, markings and colors, placards and labels, shipping papers and other documentation, and census. Occupancy location. Can you identify the places and/or businesses in your community where hazardous materials are stored? Think of their occupation that exists there and the location of them. With respect to container shapes, be alert to the various shapes and sizes of the containers that are utilized to store or transport hazardous materials. We often look for oval shapes, large circular shapes, smaller circular shapes, and rounded ends. Looking at pressure tank cars, rail tank cars, and low pressure tank cars. Some hazardous materials require specialized containment. Actual shapes and/or appearances of the containers may give you a clue as to what is in its content. General classifications of containers for hazardous materials. When we look at individual containers, they're primarily utilized and constructed to facilitate the product use, like gas cans, 55-gallon drums, and special rubberized containers. We can look at markings and colors or their labels. We often see the colors such as red for danger. The NFPA 704 system has these following colors. Blue is health, red is fire, yellow represents reactivity, and white is specific hazards. The number in the square indicates how deadly the hazard is. A 4 being very deadly, 3 is extremely hazardous, 2 hazardous, a 1 slightly hazardous, and a 0 for normal or no hazard. When we look at the white field, you may see special words, a W crossed out with the black line would mean do not use with water, P for polymerizes, the initial COR for corrosive, ALK for alkali, acid for if it's acidic, and OXY indicates it's an oxidizer. With respect to the red and the fire, we look at the flammability rating. A 0 would not burn, a 1 would burn above 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 below 200 degrees, 3 below 100, and 4 would be below 73. With respect to reactivity, the yellow, a 4 would indicate it may detonate, 3 it may detonate it with heat or shock, the 2 a violent chemical change, and a 1 be not stable if heated, and a 0 would be stable. When we look at rail car markings, we often see registration numbers and the working test pressure. Other common markings you see are placards on trucks or on the label. They say marine pollutant, caution hot. There are pipeline underground utility markings as well. Blue indicates water, green is for sewer, red electric, white would be proposed excavation, pink would be a temporary survey marking, yellow would be for gas, oil, petroleum products, and an orange is telephone cable, TV communication lines. Military has its own markings. Chemical hazard symbols, do not apply water, wear protective mask or breathing apparatus, mass detonation, explosive with fragment hazard, moderate fire hazard, and a mass fire hazard.